Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to Wowhead Weekly number 59. That's one away from 60. We have a lot to talk about today. Of course, we got a bunch of information about the Legion beta. We have Overwatch stuff, which I'm going to talk about, whether this is Wowhead Weekly or not. We have WoW's 11th anniversary. We got a patch this week, the mystical, magical Moose of Wonder. But before we get into all of that, I would like to introduce my lovely co-host, Wowhead Site Manager, Perculia.
Hey, everyone. It's been quite a week.
Perk,
what just happened?
Hang on, I'll save you, Perk. There we go. All right, you're there now.
Okay.
You're there.
Okay,
Sorry.
awesome. Hey, so it's been quite a week. Maybe the intro was fitting. We've been really busy at Wowhead, data mining all the Legion beta information and summarizing it and writing guides. And we also had patch 6.2.3, so it's been really busy on our end. We should probably talk about the live stuff, and then we'll move into the beta stuff that's been going on.
Well, we can talk about this together because anniversaries are together things, not separate things. But of course, now through November 30th is WoW's 11th anniversary. Can you believe that?
I know. I was really excited about all the rewards we got. I mean, 5 years had something and 10 years had something, but the interim years don't really have as many things. So I was really surprised by all the stuff. And
look at it. Check it out. Everybody who logs in during the anniversary will receive a package and also an achievement, but the package will contain an 11% rep and XP boost, which is really good if you're leveling alts or doing Draenor Pathfinder. There are the Murloc and Null wands, which have 5 charges each, but what's nice about these is they are bind on account, so you can get them on level 1s and send them to your bank or your main character. There is also an Edwin Van Cleef costume. This is not a toy, it's an on-use item, and it has 50 charges. And everybody's favorite thing, probably, I think, is the inflatable Thunder Fury Blessed Blade of the Windseeker. This has 5 charges, and also when you use it, it gives the achievement, Did Someone Say? And this is actually soulbound. It was bind on account for like a minute, and then they hotfixed it. But it is soulbound, so you get it, and it's over. So I don't know about you, Perk. I put mine in my bank. I want to wait until people forgot it exists, and then just pull it out one day. And everybody will be like, what? That's so cool. Where'd you get that? And I'd be like,
so a few more thoughts on that. So with mine, I used a few charges by accident because I tried to click on my real Thunder Fury. And I'm like, I'll equip the Thunder Fury. So that happened. The second thing is that if you do have a Thunder Fury, you can do really cool things with it. The weapon shows up as a main hand, so if you put Thunder Fury in your offhand, it looks like you're dual-wielding Thunder Fury, so that's cool.
Really cool.
I think with Hunters, it can look like a polearm. You have, Thunder Furies going in both directions.
That's cool.
And one more thing on the costume, which I think is kind of cool. When you put it on, he does his Dead Mine yell, and we originally thought this was like a Hollow's End costume because it was added in that same data patch. And it was the other items were like, oh, this must be 2016. So it's nice to be surprised. You can find so much in advance, but it's nice to be surprised by something or to have it be purposely misleading.
I wish it was a toy, though. 50 charges is a lot. It's enough where, I feel like they could have just made it a toy with, a really long cooldown, 24 hours or something.
Because the coin of many faces.
Yeah, we've gotten permanent rewards from... we got the Onyxia mount, or not mount, the Onyxia
wetling. Baby Onyxia. Yeah.
That was for the 7th anniversary, I think. So it's we've gotten permanent rewards for anniversaries before. I would have really loved it if they would have made that a toy. But... It would
be a good way to actually encourage new players to participate in the toy box more, since that's a new feature. It's sort of oh, what's this thing in my toy box? I never collected toys, and now... There's this toy, maybe I'll collect more for an achievement.
Yeah, but then I do get the idea of it being limited. It's just everything having a limitation. I wish one of the things was unlimited, but beggars can't be choosers, and it's free, so I can't complain.
Yeah, I assumed we'd get nothing besides the rep and experience boost, so hey, I'll take what we can get.
Pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. And that goes until the 30th, so just log in, open up the package, and stuff will be inside. It's not too terribly difficult to do.
Yeah, and like I said, I can't stress this enough. If you like the wand, particularly the Murloc wands, because they are all different color of Murlocs.
Yeah.
Definitely make some level 1s and send them over. They're bind on account, so you can just make a ton of characters and bank them somewhere. And in a couple years, when people forgot those existed, you are going to be very cool, let me tell you.
Yeah. Murloc, with the weapons, it's so cool being the Murloc with a Thunder Fury.
Yeah. Yeah,
That is fun.
it was really cool. In my raid last night, it was like everybody was either Adwin Van Cleef, a Murloc, or Hogger.
Awesome.
Although
I took a picture of me as the Knoll with next to Hogger. It was fun.
Oh, that's amazing. I just call all Knolls Hogger because I'm Horde, so we don't see a whole lot of those. But anyways, in other news, 6.2 Point Moose went live this Tuesday. Of course, that included a lot of things like Cataclysm time walking, which most people are excited about because of this here baby, the Infinite Time Reaver. Thoughts,
he
Perk?
is so cool.
Yeah.
He is personal loot from any boss, and yeah, I like dragon mounts, especially when they don't look exactly like the typical albino drake that we're used to.
Yeah.
So I'm a big fan of this guy. I really like sort of the transparent,
the wings,
like translucent thing going on with his wings.
And he's all smoky.
They look very cool.
Yeah, he's a really cool mount. I'm really glad that they're adding more stuff for time walking.
He kind of matches Thunder Fury, like he has the blue like electric thing going on. So I'm happy to see more mounts, and I'm also happy for the toys they added specifically for time walking.
Talk a little bit about those.
Sure. So we've got Tossle Wrench's Mega Accurate Simulation Viewfinder, and it's a big fancy name because it's related to a quest that shows how Deathwing rained down fire, and it's a really fun quest that you should do it if you haven't done it before in the Badlands. And it costs 3,000 time warp badges. And basically, it makes the sky turn red, and Deathwing comes down with fire, and he yells at you. And if you weren't playing in Cataclysm, basically Deathwing would do this a lot because the world really changed in Cataclysm, and if he breathed fire on you, you would get the Stood in the Fire achievement and die. So that is pretty funny. And the other toy is Gurboggle's Gleaming Bauble for 1,500 Time Warp badges. And you turn into a Gleeblin, who's like a goblin but with fins. And you also have some perks in Vashir, which is the only underwater questing zone. Like you have increased swim speed and you can breathe underwater. And Vashir was it was an experiment, but underwater questing just did not work out. It just wasn't fun.
Quickly.
And there was like 3 zones in Vashir, and you kept getting deeper and darker into each one. And it's just, by the end, people felt dizzy there. But, I mean, it was a cool concept, and a lot of the sea life was actually based on, marine biology. It wasn't just fantastical creatures. It was actually cool if you thought about it. But you got dizzy in there after a while.
I think that my stream... there we go. I don't know what is going on with my streaming program today. It's just, it doesn't want your camera to work properly. But that's okay. I was just going to say that no wonder there was so much accurate marine biology. I mean, Ghostcrawler was still a Blizzard at the time. So, but there was other
and the
stuff.
Ghostcrawler rare spawn is there too. So,
yeah,
but yeah.
There's other stuff that came with time walking as well, like the Earl Black Tea, which I know you're a big fan of.
Yeah, it's it's like a temporary consumable, and it gives, if you drink it, you get a monocle and a top hat for 10 minutes. And that just feels really fun because they added this item to the data in the game back in Cataclysm, but you couldn't get it. So it just is really neat when someone goes back and they're like, oh, look at this cool item we never used. Let's put it on a vendor years later. It's like, oh, you're not forgotten. Your time to shine is just a bit later than all the other items.
But it also worked out well, too. Like, it was a good time for it to come back.
Yeah, and I think also on the notes that Kaja Cola also came back, the goblin drink that puts the little light bulb over your head.
Kaja Cola gives you ideas.
Exactly. So they're back as well. And there's also the usual stuff like the vendor slots. You can, at the vendor, they're all like different for each holiday. So this one you get the bracers, ring, trinket, chest, and belt. And they are, if you are level 100, they are item level 675. If you buy them and you're not
really
100,
good.
Yeah. Like
really good.
Yeah, we'll talk about with the Moose Mount, but like that's just like 25 badges for 675. That's
insane.
Yeah, that's very nice.
Because you get 500, right, when you do your very first one. So it's like you get like all of the gear just from doing one. And if you're a fresh 100, my sister hit 100 during time walking, and that's exactly what she did. She did time walking 2 level up, didn't spend her badges till 100, and then had like all the pieces.
If you think that you'll be close to 100, especially with that boost being live, like don't buy the badge gear below 100 because it won't scale up when you become 100. You still have this like bad outdated gear.
Yeah. Pro tip.
So, yep. So yeah, there's also 6 instances that you can run. They are End Time, Grim Patrol, Lost City of the Tolvir, the Stone Core, the Vortex Pinnacle, and Throne of the Tides. And they give you either 30 or 35 badges based, some have a few more bosses than others. But yeah, if you want to just get a huge lump sum of badges, run the first time walking instance. And something I didn't mention in the notes is that the weekly quest to do your 5 dungeons now has 500 Valor attached to it, in addition to that Hellfire Citadel cache. So, you should do at least 5.
It's worth doing. And not only that, but on top of the Infinite Time Reaper that we talked about earlier being personal loot, you can also loot the Cataclysmic Stone Drake. Is that what it's called? Out of the Stone Core?
Oh, yeah, the volcanic. The
Vitreous Stone Drake.
No, there was Volcanic from Stone Core, and then I think Vitreous from Vortex Pinnacle.
Isn't the one out of Vortex Pinnacle a Drake of the Wind?
It's a Drake of the Wind. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, whatever. There's mounts. There's mounts you can get too. That's my only point. Like, so many dragons. Get all the dragons. Like, who cares about everything else? Dragons.
There's also achievements from each instance as well. If you do a bunch of the achievements, you get another kind of volcanic-looking Drake as well.
Yeah.
So if you have some time to burn, you can, knock out a bunch of achievements, get some nerd points. So yeah.
Speaking of
it goes until Monday. Yeah.
I'm sorry to cut you off. Time Walking goes till Monday. Yeah. I'm just really excited about this. Speaking of mounts, the Moose mount is officially in the game. This is the Grove Warden mount. If you kill Heroic or Mythic Archimond, he'll drop an item, and then you go turn that item in Moonglade, and it's just like a one-time quick quest, and you are rewarded with this baby. Oh,
I love the little blue clouds when he flies. I also love that the moose can fly.
Yes. I love all the details of the moose. I love the little bags on his saddle, and he's got like a drinking horn, or maybe it's a telescope. I don't know. He's got some sort of horn on his saddle and just all these little braids. Like, he's such a well-made mount, and I'm glad that they made him a reward, because I feel like that was the big complaint this expansion, is that all the mounts were the same and everything was a recolor, and then here comes this moose out of nowhere.
So
I think it's a good setup too, because we're gonna see a lot of those characters that are in Moonglade in Legion.
Yeah, that's a nice transition to tie things together that way. So we wrote a gearing guide if you want to get your item level up, because there's been a lot of item changes this patch with, is something Warforged, Mythic Loot is more, now there are upgrades for 10 item levels, can you get, like, a good Mythic item and upgrade it? So we wrote all those things in case, you're kind of under-geared and you want to gear up to start doing Mythic Dungeons for more loot, or or maybe doing, like, LFR, like, normal Archimon, and want to start doing more, joining a raid group. So we have all that done, and we also have guides for Heroic Archimon, and then guides as well for Mythic Archimon. The Mythic one is by Method and also has a video guide, so if you are still learning the fight, those strategy guides can help you out.
Who's learning Mythic Archimon? I mean, hasn't everybody done that by now?
I was also going to say that obviously you should get the moose on Heroic and not try it on Mythic. But, if you want to finish the instance, yeah.
But, we were just talking about this, so this is a good transition. Yeah. Valor, of course, was added back into the game with 6.2.3, which means the return of item upgrades, which some people think is good and some people think it's bad. I think it's just kind of a passive nerf to every piece of content, which is expected, because this should be the last patch before the pre.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so with all this Legion data that's coming
in. So you'll be able to upgrade your items up to 10 levels for 500 Valor. It's in 2 increments. For 250, you get 5 item levels. Hellfire Citadel LFR can reward up to 150 Valor per week. Other LFRs, 75 Valor per week. Mythic Dungeons, 300 per the first one you do each week for a max of 2,400. Your weekly bonus quest, if applicable, 500 per week. And your first random heroic dungeon of the day is 100 per week for a total of 4,875.
Yeah, so there's no weekly cap, so it's not like, I can only get 1,000. But there is a total cap of 5,000, so that basically means It makes sense. Like, if you're gonna grind out, like, 5,000
Why
Valor...
wouldn't you spend it?
Yeah.
That makes no sense at all. Also, a pro tip that I'm sure it was on Wowhead somewhere, but I've been reading so much the past week of things, all text is blurred together. But if you are upgrading stuff, chest and legs have the highest stat weight, so they're a really good candidate for your first upgrades.
Yeah, I think I put that in the acquiring and spending guide. Like,
yeah. I believe it.
Yeah.
Like I said, all text has just blurred together into one thing for me because I think I'm an expert on Death Knights now, Perk.
Awesome.
I think I'm an expert.
Well, Kasarian and Koltira are back. I know lots of people want to play Death Knights.
My Death Knight raw footage was like an hour just like talking about Death Knights, and that's not a class I play, and I feel really confident talking about them, and I think Unholy is the coolest class in Legion. But
awesome.
Anyways... It'd be a good idea to
going back to Valor.
Yeah, it would be a good idea to upgrade your chest or your legs. Yeah. Probably weapon would be next after that.
Yeah. I mean, of course, also, if there's, like, one item that, you know, maybe you don't raid and you get one item that was from, like, a shipyard quest. Like, if that's, like, a really good item level... Even if it's, like, a neck, you know, that would be good to upgrade because there's less danger that you would replace that. Really soon.
Yeah, you have to weigh out all of the factors. Obviously, if your chest is blue and 650, maybe not a great candidate. But anyways, and speaking of loot for non-raiders, Mythic Dungeon loot got improved. Previously, it was like 685 with a chance of being, I want to say, 705. And now it has a chance to be up to 725, and that's in increments of 5. So it could be 785, 685.
And that's before you apply the upgrades to it.
Yep. So, really high loot. 725 is crazy. I haven't seen a 725 drop, but that doesn't mean that it can't drop. Also, in Mythic Dungeons, you can get those BOA heirloom trinkets similar to the weapons out of Siege of Orgrimmar, which is kind of insane. They also have a demon bonus on them, which is like... Use these.
It's really good for Hellfire.
Yeah.
I think they hotfixed... I think they didn't work on Archimon at first, and they hotfixed it to work on Archimon.
Yeah.
So, and there was like a blue tweet saying like, yeah, this is actually meant to, you know, work on the encounter. Like, yes, this is intended that it's meant to, you know, help you now as opposed, you know, in addition to Legion.
It's nice that they made it something that was viable for use now. Because trinkets are one of those things where people...
Exactly. It's like bad luck. It's like the Garrosh weapons. Yeah,
it's just one of those things. And it's funny because when I ran a couple mythics this weekend, 2 people... in my guild, it was our first time running for the week. It was like on Tuesday right after the patch. 2 people got a trinket off of the very first boss that we killed.
Oh, wow.
In Skyreach. And I was like, that's ridiculous. And they're like, why is it ridiculous? And I was like, I don't mean like you personally. Calm down. Also in this patch was Brightwing. Although Brightwing's not out yet. Brightwing comes out on December 2nd. This is a new charity pet that Blizzard has coming to benefit Make-A-Wish, and it's really cute, especially if you have the Mythic Rune Saber, the Mystic Rune Saber, because they match.
Yep, they're so cute. I'm definitely gonna get it. And this next pet is Baby Winston, and he is a reward for purchasing Overwatch Origins Edition, which is like there's like digital deluxe, which has cool stuff for every game, like a Hearthstone card back and like extra skins for Overwatch and Tracer and Heroes of the Storm.
The skins are crazy too.
I like Widowmaker. Yeah. I just was gonna say that I bought Origins Edition, and I think mine is still queuing because I haven't received Baby Winston yet, but he is in the pet journal, so like he is considered part of this patch and in the data. And I think he will be coming soon. With him, like, but my order is not considered done yet, so maybe he'll be in a mini patch. But he's so cute.
I haven't ordered it yet. I'm going to. I actually am not sure. I might want the actual physical collector's edition because of the statue of Soldier 76.
Right.
But what was really interesting to me about the Overwatch Origin Edition skins is that some of the characters have different names. Like, because they're...
which one? Who's
Reaper.
the different name?
I can't think of Reaper's original name, but, like, Reaper used to be, like, a good guy who was part of Overwatch, and then he went bad, and his, like, bad guy name is Reaper, but he had, like, a name, like, Sergeant whatever. So it's, like, crazy, because his skin is unrecognizable. He's a human in clothes, and his name is different. It's really bizarre. Same thing with Soldier 76. I'm pretty sure his skin has a name as well. And they're just so very, very different.
And the security guard skin was interesting, too, because it looks so different than the character's current skin. Like, it was very sort of, like, brown and, you know, baggy. You know, so, like, that was also a bit different to me.
Yeah, I liked that, though. I mean, obviously, tracers was very recognizable. But I liked that they weren't just recolors. You're paying for this Origins edition, and the skins have this lore behind them, and I feel like it's very interesting. You want to know, like, well, why does he have a different name? Like, why are his clothes different? What made him go from this identity to that identity?
I think it would be cool if they did more shorts. Like, the trailer got such, critical recognition, and for things like, Warlords and Legion, they do those little shorts explaining the characters leading up to the expansion. Like, wouldn't that be cool if there's a little 5-minute
Yeah, I know they're doing a
Tracer.
comic series to talk about the lore and stuff behind, but I would be
the
100% behind animation, because the animation of the trailer for Overwatch was phenomenal. Like, I would watch that movie. Like, I would an animated movie about Overwatch for sure today. I don't even care about the game. Like, I mean, I do care about the game, but I would watch it regardless because it was pretty amazing. Also worth noting is that the Overwatch stress test beta is this weekend, meaning that there's a lot of extra people in the beta this weekend. It's who knows who will get to keep their keys after this weekend, but a lot of people's accounts were flagged to play between Friday and Sunday, pretty much to test out what Blizzard servers can handle, and I think then decisions will be made about who stays in the beta and who doesn't after they see how much they can handle. So check your emails, check your Battle.net launcher to see if you're in, because you might be.
What I found really funny was that people were getting flagged for the stress test around the time developers were having cryptic tweets about the Legion data process starting. And, like, everyone on Twitter was like, oh my god, this must be Legion. And everyone on Reddit was like, oh, they must be pressing the button for all these Overwatch people coming in. And then all the Overwatch beta invites came out right after, so then everyone thought it was about Overwatch and that nothing was happening with WoW.
Yeah.
So I found that whole thing funny.
So I feel like the Legion beta stuff was, like, ninja'd. Like, I keep expecting randomly to, like, just the beta be out, no warning, nothing, because that's how the data really felt. It just was like...
No, so there still has not been an official post on Battle.net that the beta has started and no one can play it right now. And I know usually for Warlords, like, the post introducing the alpha or the beta slightly precede the actual data mining and files being uploaded. So it kind of got a little bit reversed this time, and I know people's accounts were getting incorrectly flagged for, I don't know, Warlords Alpha. So it was sort of like this very surprising thing. We were like, oh, here's some data, and it was filed under the PTR, not beta for some reason. But we've been doing a lot of stuff. But we would want to talk quickly about the class guides, or...
I was just going to tease you. Yeah. How much sleep have you gotten in the past 3 days, Perk? Some. Before we get into actual Legion beta stuff, which I'm probably going to let Perk talk mostly about because she's been writing these guides nonstop. She's more knowledgeable than me. Wowhead does have a whole section on class guides that basically goes over everything that we know so far about every class in Legion. It talks about any spells or talent changes that we know about, any, like, class overhaul type changes we know about their artifact weapon, where their class order hall is going to be, and then even it goes as far as to highlight all the blue tweets about that class in Legion. So it's like a whole mess of information, all nice and organized. And then I will also be making videos for each one of those. The Demon Hunter one is already up if you want to watch it. I already filmed the Death Knight one, but I haven't edited it yet. I started to, and then my cat, like, was paralyzed, so that was, like, a disaster. But he's okay now, and I'm gonna finish the Death Knight one this weekend. It will be up by Sunday, so by like Sunday night, Monday morning. You know how my videos go up at like 3 a.m. I need to work on that, but I will have the Death Knight one done this weekend. And as we get more Legion stuff happening, those guides will all be updated. So if you play, say, a Druid, it would be worth bookmarking the Druid one. You can just check back and see if any new stuff has been added, and then you don't have to go searching for it.
Cool. So on to all this data stuff I've been staying up late working on.
Here we go. I'm going to flip it over to you, and I'll just chime in when things seem interesting.
Okay, awesome. So last night the beta files were uploaded to Blizzard CDN, which means that we can start mining them for information and presenting all the stuff we think is interesting. So first up, we got some new load screens. One is of the Demon Hunter area Mordoom, and the other is of the Paladin class order hall. So that's in Light's Hope Chapel. Another cool thing is we got scenarios for mostly each artifact that's coming, and some of them are really interesting. I'm going to go read a few of these. The marksman one is, 1 second, pulling this up. So many tabs.
So many tabs.
So, the first one that's up is that there is the Retribution Paladins. Your artifact is Ashbringer, and the name of the artifact is the quest is the Legend of the Ashbringer, and phases are things like Holy Vengeance, destroy Jailer Xeris and save High Lord Tyrion Fordring, find the Ashbringer within the Lost Temple, defeat Balzanar, return to Tyrion Fordring. There is the Marksman one is called Legacy of the Windrunners, and one of the phases is to search for your allies, go deeper into Legion territory, and try to locate Ilaria, defeat the Hound Mistress, slay Mistress Torvis, then resume the hunt for Ilaria, free Varisa Windrunner. So there's just like a lot of interesting lore details that you can dive into with these artifacts. You know, there's the Karazhan one is there for warlocks. There's some information on the Rogue Outlaw weapon, which is kind of cool because that's totally new. Like, we don't really know the fantasy of the spec. There's one for Lily. You have to, like, protect her from the dangers of Skywall, and then you have to, like, fight a dragon, and you have to weaken a storm dragon, and then you get Fist of the Heavens, the Death Knights. You have to go to the Lich King awaits your return to the Citadel and reforge the fragments of his weapon, and then the Lich King gives you a blessing. So all of this stuff is super interesting if you like speculating or you're into lore. And yeah, I also put all of these little scenario blurbs into the main artifact guide, which has all the pictures and all the known tints and all that good stuff. And there's even more in the beta coverage on the front pages on the site. I'm not going to read all scenarios because we'd be here for a very long time, but I thought those few were pretty cool.
Yeah.
Another cool thing is professions. The new cap is 800, and this part I thought was the most interesting out of the professions.
What, the enchanted chicken mount?
No, yeah, enchants in general. Like, so first off, enchanters get this, they get to make a mount, and it is the enchanted chicken mount. So I can't wait to see that. That sounds super cool. I'm glad enchanters can finally make
hilarious and trolly. I love Blizzard.
Yeah. So it also reminds me, like, maybe it will be like the Magic Rooster mount, but some glittery version of it.
Like the spectral chicken? Oh my god. We can only hope.
Like a gold spectral chicken. That would be fun.
Yes.
And this next part was not as visually cool, but this was pretty interesting. So your neck enchant can summon a druid, arrows known as the Fallen Sentinels, or a trickster. And those summoned NPCs get stronger with new abilities based on your ring and cape enchants. So that is just really cool with all the combinations of stuff. And again, I'll just go read a few of these so you can get a sense. So if you enchant your ring with Critical Strike, the Loyal Druid has a bleed attack. With a haste ring, they learn a healing spell. With a mastery ring, they root enemies in place. A versatility ring, they amplify the damage that you deal. With a strength cloak, they learn bear form. With an agility cloak, they learn cat form. And with an intellect cloak, they learn moonkin form. And then, Fallen Sentinels, it's like, you have fiery arrows or holy bolts. For the trickster, you can stun enemies, or he gains a damaging curse attack, or imbues your attacks with shadow. And all of that just seems really neat with all the combinations of stuff. It's not, Warriors was very, this increases your stats by X amount of versatility, and, everything does the same thing. But it's really interesting how one enchanting slot is, it's dependent on what you decide to enchant another slot with.
A chicken!
Maybe, yeah.
Sorry.
Also the chicken. But
we're all excited about the chicken in chat.
I see. I had this, big spell post up being reading all this stuff I did at 2 a.m. and you're all like, chicken!
Listen.
Yeah.
It's not your fault. We love what you're saying. It's just the enchanted rooster, the magic rooster mount has been,
Yeah, I should go read the description about it because people want to hear about the rooster. So apparently the Mount Journal, it will say, Strega the Hag, in her youth, was always careful to keep her enchanting and her animal husbandry neatly separated. As time wore on, however, her eyesight, aim, or strict moral codes must have deteriorated.
Oh my god, what if it's Pepe? What if she, like, turns Pepe into it?
Oh no, Pepe!
Oh
Are
no,
you okay with that, Pepe?
I hope there's, like, a great quest line for it, because, like, I love the little, like, flavor text of, like, that she's gone kind of old and senile and crazy, and she's just enchanting chickens into mouths.
Yeah. So, the text on that is really good. Okay, Pepe, you can go back with the cute but deadly stuff.
No, the enchants sound super cool, though, and they sound very, that was one of the things they talked about at, like, Gamescom, is wanting enchanting, or not enchanting, but all professions, essentially, to be a lot more interesting and, like, interactive, and not just like, oh, here's an enchant, and you put the enchant on the thing, and then you never touch it again, and nothing changes, and that's the game. You know, instead it's going to be this really, like, I don't know, very different
What I think is interesting, how, like, haste I don't associate with healing normally, but if you choose the druid for your neck, then the druid's going to heal if you have haste.
Yeah.
So then it's like, oh, well, maybe I want, like, the sentinels, you know, for my neck instead, because their haste, like, you know, you deal more damage. Like, it's just interesting how, like, maybe the druid's really good if you're feral, but then suddenly if you are, you know, switching to a different spec, it's like, oh, well, now everything's totally off with these enchants.
Yeah.
I have to, you know, redo them. So I just think it's really interesting thinking of all the combinations, and I'm really curious to see what it will look like.
Yeah. Well, and it makes me wonder, too, do you think you'll only be able to see your own, or do you think, like, it'll, like, if you were in a 25-man raid, are we talking about 25 additional, like...
I think that would be really bad.
It would be a lot, right?
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see how that goes. Tailoring looks cool, too. Even though we know nothing about it, I'm just excited about the idea of armor dye. What's that perk?
Yeah.
What is
armor
it?
dye is so cool.
I mean, we don't really know. We don't
My
know.
coworkers are asking me, they're like, do you know more about this? And I'm like, I just saw this phrase in the spell data, but
I'm sorry, all we care about are chickens and transmog.
So apparently there's terms that are called things like dye fabric, amber dye, dye bunny visual, which makes people think that maybe you can dye armor if there's a visual effect, and brimstone infused green dye.
Yeah, but, like, is it, like, we don't know if that's a crafting material, because there's obviously dye in the game right now. Like, that's already a thing. Like, you have to use dye for certain, like, crafting, so it might not be as exciting as we think it is, but, like...
But it says dye fabric.
It could be exciting.
Yeah, I think it could be exciting. So... There's
Even
also
if you
things,
couldn't dye, okay, let's say you couldn't dye, like, already made armor. Like, you couldn't dye your raid gear or whatever. It would still be very cool if you could get crafted armor and choose the color of it, because it would open a whole new realm of, like, entrepreneurship in the tailoring world. You know
there
what I mean?
are a few, like, items. There's a bunch of silkweave stuff and imbued silkweave, but there are these two random items, and one is called embroidered silkweave, and another is called basic silkweave. And, like, I just get a sense that they're RP based on, like, other embroidered or fancy items in the game.
Yeah.
So, like, maybe the dye could, like, I don't know, change the appearance of those items if it's just for fashion. That would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, we know that you'll be able to make sets with tailoring. So, like, maybe, like, even if the color didn't change the stats, I mean, that would keep those items viable for transmog even past the point where they're viable for gear. Which right now, nobody is, like, no one's like, oh, you know what I want is that crafted thing for transmog. You know what I mean?
And it can make people actually want to craft current things, because, you know, everyone is always like, oh, my Burning Crusade set and my Wrath set, and no one's like, oh man, I really want to go get this Warlord set and make it look awesome. So now it's like, oh, here's an incentive, you know, you can actually, like,
customize it.
You have, like, 90% of a set, but you, like, your belts don't match. Well, now you can make a belt and dye it, so you should do that.
Yeah, that's really cool. I'm excited about it, and silkweave is a cool name for a cloth. Not that it really matters. It's just, I believe that's a cloth. There's some new herbs, too. New herbs, obviously, because new expansion. Starlight Rose, Fellwort, Fjarn Skaggle, Foxflower, Dreamleaf, and Athril. Athril?
Yeah, I think so.
Talk a little bit about Howd Herb.
Sure. So in the data, we found that there are 3 ranks of herbalism techniques for each type of herb. And the first rank you can gather that herb more effectively so you won't fail. For the second rank, you can find rare materials when you gather that herb. And rank 3 for each herb has really unique and different things. So for Starlight, its attempt to gather a Starlight Rose will always succeed. For Fellwort, it teaches you how to gather seeds from all Broken Isle herbs. I don't know what seeds do yet. For Jarnskaggle, it's mount quickly after gathering any herb in the Broken Isles. This one's my favorite. For Foxflower, it's gathering Foxflower will summon friendly foxes to fight alongside you.
That's amazing.
That's so cute. For Dreamleaf, it's standing near a Dreamleaf will grant you a powerful buff. So, I guess if you're fighting a mob, you can stand near, you pull the rare spawn to the Dreamleaf and then try to, defeat the mob, but then what if someone steals your node and then you're less powerful? So that seems like it could be interesting.
Yeah.
And, for Aetheril, it's gathering herbs in the Broken Isles may cause additional herbs to appear. So, yeah, herbalism went from a pretty generic gathering profession to foxes and buffs and all sorts of unique things.
Yeah, that's cool. And then the next couple we don't know too much about other than names. We know mining will have lace, stone, and fell slate. Alchemy, archaeology, and jewel crafting is just like new names. But skinning.
Yeah, skinning is cool.
But skinning is pretty cool. It has an item. One of the things you can get lets you skin a creature up to 40 yards away. Ranged skinning.
Yeah. And there's also cool techniques. We don't know as much information about them like we do herbalism, but it's stuff like, rank 2 skinning can allow you to find rare materials while gathering. Skinning technique Legion Butchery teaches you how to gather meat while skinning creatures of the Broken Isles. And skinning technique Legion Gutting teaches you how to gather, interesting items while skinning creatures. So I'm pretty sure the developers don't know what those items are, but yeah, it's literally just interesting items. So no idea what that is.
No clue. But I'm excited that they've made these gathering professions. I'm just excited that they've done things to professions to make them interesting. Because I feel like Warlords of Draenor kind of made professions completely not interesting at all.
Yeah, they really gutted them. It was just,
So I'm excited to see that they've put this care back into it and this thought of what would make skinning fun, what would make gathering herbs fun. Speaking of fun things, mounts.
Okay, do you want to do this part?
I don't have to do the whole part. I feel like we should discuss because this is exciting and we both like this kind of stuff. So one of the new mounts coming in Legion is the Demon Saber, which is possessed of a demonic spirit. And they apparently form a strong bond with their masters. Now, to me, that sounds like it's going to be hunter-related.
I think so, or maybe it's the way that, so the demon hunters get their own mount, but maybe this is the way that if you're not a demon hunter, but you like the aesthetic, you can get that mount.
Like maybe you different version of it.
Yeah, or maybe you do stuff, you do the quest line, or you gain rep with the faction that's sympathetic to the demon hunters, and you get it from there.
That's cool. Yeah, it does sound a demon saber
is all speculation.
And a fell saber.
Yeah.
They sound similar. Yeah. I like that speculation, and I bet you're right or close to right.
Cool.
Then there is the prestigious War Steed, which is armored to withstand collisions in battle. That's gotta
This sounds like a PvP.
Yeah,
now.
That's gonna be.
It's gotta be like the Alliance.
Yeah, because
when you're 40
also
battlegrounds.
There's also the prestigious War Wolf at War Chief Hellscream's command, which Horde trainers began raising wolves to thrive in shock and ferocity of sustained combat. So those are definitely going to be the PvP mounts. Although saying the PvP mounts really means nothing because with the whole prestige system,
I'm sure there's a lot more.
There's a lot more than just 2 mounts, which is nice. Then there is the Spirit of...
It's a moose.
It's a moose! It's the spirit of Home High Mountain's pet moose. So it's another moose. So if you're one of the... I know there's a lot of people right now who are very disappointed that they can't get the moose from Archimon because they don't raid or maybe they just PvP. They don't have the gear. They don't have the time to invest. There will be another moose. Another moose is
and
on
it's from
the horizon. And it's from archaeology. So there's nothing stopping you from getting it. Then there's the Enchanted Chicken, which we already talked about and are very excited for. Pepe's mother. Buffy's mother. Also, I thought this was really interesting too. Is there was mention of a charger for a paladin specifically? So are we getting a reworked paladin mount? Do you think not reworked, but like a remodeled paladin? Mount?
It's hard to say. Like a lot of the data that we're pulling from these files is new, but then there's some data we found that was redundant, and I kept it in because. Like, there wasn't a ton of data in this mount file, so it didn't seem like it was an accident, but yeah, there could be a paladin mount, like maybe there's class mounts tied to your class halls, we'll see, we have no idea.
I feel like if that's a thing, warlocks are going to be real angry, like salty AF.
Because the people that did the quest back in the day?
Well, if they remake the paladin mount and don't remake the warlock mount,
yeah, I mean, well, like, they'd have to redo it for all the classes, because, I mean, we don't have any information on, Death Knights, or Druids, or Hunters, or any of that stuff.
Yeah. Wait, are you talking about Druid, like, travel form? Druids don't have a mount, do they?
No, I meant that, like, if the Charger Paladin is possibly indicating that there would be, like, a mount if you do a bunch of stuff tied to your class hall. Mm-hmm. Again, just speculation.
Oh, there would be a mount with every class hall. Yeah. Okay, I understand.
Or that this could just be, like, bad data being like, oh, whatever, we just, like, used Charger Paladin as a spell template and we forgot to delete it from the data. So,
yeah, okay, I got you. So I took that a totally different way, because I was thinking that it wasn't going to be a new mount, but it would just be a remodel of the Paladin mount that's currently in-game. Yeah. But your idea makes a lot more sense. And also, we talked about this a little last week, but of course, Demon Hunters are getting their very own class mount. It's called the Fell Saber, and it's this, like, kind of dead, hellish cat thing. It's pretty cool. And Perk speculated so wisely earlier that possibly that Demon Saber is going to share a model and maybe a mount that's similar that's available to non-Demon Hunters. Now, this is interesting, too, and I'm surprised you didn't put this in with professions, because I feel like it's highly hinted.
It could, yeah.
But there's going to be an item in Legion that will increase the speed of your mount. No, it is not the carrot on a stick or spurs. Very disappointing. It is laystone hoof plates. And the flavor text says, place hoof plates on your current mount, increasing speed while mounted by X. Dismounting cancels the effect. This has got to be blacksmithing. Blacksmiths in real life make horseshoes.
Laystone is one of those materials you get from mining, and blacksmiths use the mining stuff. So.
Yeah, so that is super cool that they're adding something like that. I feel like carrot on a stick was so popular, and the mithril spurs and stuff. Like, people loved that. People ate that stuff up. So I'm glad they added something like that back in, because that was one of those things that everybody got carrot on a stick. Like, you had to get carrot on a stick. What are you even doing without it?
Why'd you pick that hat from Zul'Farrak instead?
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's just so dumb. But anyways, also, we know that we're going to be having the followers in our class order hall. It's sort of like the revamp of Garrison Tech in a different format. But what was really cool is when I was looking through the notes this morning, when I started to write these up, is that there's actually some very class-specific followers that you're going to have in your order hall. But it's not so much that they're class-specific, but they're like popular, well-known lore characters. They're not just like a random Death Knight or a random Paladin. Some of the ones that I recognized were High Lord Darian Moraine. I don't know where. I always put a G in there. I have no idea why. But High Lord Darian Moraine will be there for Death Knights. And then I saw you put a smiley face, so go ahead.
So a lot of people were really excited that Thessarian and Kultira were back after what happened in Cataclysm with the Battle of Anderhall. So people were super excited about that yesterday. So I put a smiley face to show how excited people were that these, fan favorite Death Knights were back, because, they were like the Alliance and Horde, but they were friends. And, the thing about like Death Knights not really having feelings, but they were still friends across faction boundaries. And then they got split up after the battle, but, we know that they're both alive and well, so that's good.
Well, I was going to say it was very Romulo and Julianne, but if they're alive and doing well, then it's not. There's also, for monks, are going to get Lily and Chen Stormstout, which...
I know,
that's so cool. And then this one's all yours as well.
Yeah, so apparently the two rogue ones we know so far are Lillian Voss and Vanessa Van Cleef, and we both thought that they were dead when we last caught up with them in Cataclysm. Well, I guess Voss was in Visit Pandaria, and we were able to data mine some of the descriptions going along with the followers, and Vanessa is explained this way. It is Most think to this day that the infamous leader of the Defias Brotherhood died in the Dead Mines years ago thanks to an elixir that mimicked death in flame-retardant armor. In truth, the wayward daughter of Westfall found her way into the secretive Order of the Uncrowned, where her anti-government motives were well at home. She quickly rose through the ranks to the mysterious shadows, poised to finally have the means to enact her revenge. So she's going to be some sort of follower or agent that's related to rogues, and that is super exciting. And we have a lot more followers that we found in the data. Some of them have descriptions, some of them just have quests. But for example, Lady Liadrin is there. Altrius the Sufferer from the Nagrand Demon Hunter chain is there, and he's like, he cares little for the traditional company of his own people. The Sufferer prefers the company of his Netherdrake, Netheradamus, and the thrill of diving into the fray on his own. However, he is no fool and is willing to work alongside those who prove to him that they can keep pace with his exceptional skills. So there's a lot of cool stuff. Ettrig is there, the orc who was the faithful, serving the war chiefs of the Horde. Nazgril is there. Ritsin the warlock who shows up everywhere is there. Lulubel Fizzlebang, and Fizzlebangs are part of that family of warlocks that keep popping up. There is an ogre that's a mage, so who was a leader of the great ogre civilization of Ogrela. Mog Dorgabril, his faction of ogre mages to bear against the Legion, which is just funny because, in High Mall, the ogres are still being mages, and they've got that funny quest where they don't seem to be that smart understanding how ships work and everything. So, how bodyguards work for the legendary ketchup quest. So that's just fine how, one of the mage followers is like, I'm in Dalaran, and I know how to, rabbits and parties and magic tricks, and it's like, ogre from Ogrela. But we have tons of followers like that, and I think that this is still incomplete, and we'll see more, obviously, as the beta progresses. But yeah, that rogue thing was a big surprise because, we all thought that she died at the end of, Cataclysm when you inheroic Dead Mines when the ship blows up.
Yeah.
So, apparently not.
Yeah, and it's like, it's weird, because, there's a lot of information we still need, but there's a lot of interesting, little tidbits that we got. You had done a highlight portion on some of the bosses that are coming in Legion, and I thought they would be kind of fun to talk about, because Cordana is one of them, which is a little confusing, because that was someone who, helped us throughout Draenor. And
for the most part.
Yeah, for the most part. So it's, very interesting that how the mighty have fallen. A lot of people turn out to be traitors or whatnot, but they don't all turn out to be bosses. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's interesting. There's also Odin, who is a new Titan Keeper, like the ones in Ulduar, which is super great because a lot of people love Ulduar. I assume he's going to have, lore that goes with, the Valkyr.
Yeah, I would assume that, Halls of Valor, I could see him being there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to keep summarizing these, or do you want me to take over some?
I just figured we could just chit-chat about it. Sure. You go, I go, I don't care.
So, next one is Miron, the Fallen King. We saw him in Utgard Pinnacle, so maybe this is, an undead version of him, or maybe he's ascended as, Valhalla, a warrior. There's Lord Kultalos Ravencrest, and then Ilyasana Ravencrest, who is his daughter. And looking at the descriptions more, they were, part of Night Elf culture, and then got mixed up with, Ashara and the Legion. So always a fan of more Night Elf lore.
There's also Ursak, who we're not really sure exactly where he's going to be a boss, but maybe possibly part of the Guardian artifact scenario, because Ursak's.
Yeah, I need to interject. There are so many funny placeholder data things for Druid things, there was one that's oak leaf, and it's placeholder, tree guy. And then I think Ursak's description in the journal is just rar with an exclamation point.
Oh my gosh.
So,
what's going to be funny is if it's not actually Ursak, if Ursak itself was the placeholder, that would be funny too. And then there's also some bosses that are out of the new Violet Hold dungeon, and they're awesome. They're so amazing. Maleficent Manastorm is Millhouse Manastorm's wife. I love that so much because it's obviously a little bit of a play on Maleficent, and then you've got Millhouse Manastorm and Maleficent. It's adorable.
And her description is really funny, It's, 1 second. Oh yeah, it's an engineering genius of unimaginable prowess. Maleficent Manastorm seems to be the complete opposite of her husband Milhouse. Smart and resourceful, she is a force to be reckoned with. And she has these gadgets, which are an Elementium squirrel bomb, and a Thorium rocket chicken, and a rocket chicken rocket. So she sounds
rocket
awesome.
Chicken rocket. Yeah, she sounds amazing. Then there's another boss in the Violet Hold called Festerface, and it says, Professor Putricide had many experiments seized when Ice Crown Citadel fell. At best guess, Festerface appears to be a prototype for two more fearsome constructs, Rotface and Festergut. So I'm really excited to see what he looks like.
Maybe he'll be like a cute, like, little baby.
Yeah, it's gonna be really cute, like a little baby A-bomb, or like almost like the Grave Golem pet. How it's it's gonna be so great. Then there is Anub Aset, which is one of the few remaining ancient Nerubian crypt lords who was captured by the Kirin Tor during the invasion of Ice Crown Citadel and imprisoned in the Violet Hold. He was set free during the Legion's invasions. His thoughts are all about revenge and killing living things, which is kind of funny because his is all serious. Like, we've had, Maleficent Manastorm and Festerface, the baby A-bomb, and then Anubiset. And then the last one is Blood Princess Thelena. And she was the daughter of the powerful vampire Blood Queen Lanithil. She's been locked inside the Violet Hold for years, suffering the gnawing pain of eternal hunger. Now that her cell has been opened, she intends to feed on the world. So,
I think she's a neat addition, too. I mean, the game's been around for such a long time, and it's, like, we have these backstories with our characters, but it's like, oh, these bosses, like, shouldn't they have a family too, you know, like a spouse or a child. So,
well, what I really like about this too is it's such a throwback to players from a lot of different expansions. It's not like they're all from the same place, you know? Yeah. Like, I love that people will go in there, if they're returning players from, maybe haven't played in a couple expansions, they'll go in and be like, Maleficent Manastorm, what the heck, you know?
Yeah.
Or Festerface, what the heck? So, I like those types of throwbacks. I'm excited for, well, I said earlier that I was, not earlier today, but earlier in life, that I was excited for a return of Violet Hold because that was one of my favorite instances.
Yeah. So,
titles.
Titles. Yeah. I'm just looking at this gigantic pile of boss data being like, oh, everything's so cool, maybe I should talk about one more, and then being like, oh my god, we still have lots of other stuff to talk about.
I know you added a lot of like sound stuff in here, and I don't even know how
that should go pretty fast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways,
okay.
Titles.
Yeah, titles.
Let's talk about them. There is Illidari, and I'm gonna say your name, and if you want to say my name, I don't really care. You can say your own name. I don't care. But it would be like Illidari Perculia, and we believe this title is going to be given to Demon Hunters. That's how it was in the pre-beta demo version at BlizzCon, but anything could change. Like, I said that in my video, and people are like, obviously you get it for being a Demon Hunter. Well, obviously right now that's how you get it, but it's the super demo nothing works build, so who knows?
Yes. Okay, apparently we just got spell data up, so I'll post it in a second. I'm like, two things at once.
Well, hurry up.
Yeah, after this post, we will have spell data up for Legion. High Lord Panzer. This sounds like it could be like
PvP.
I don't know, maybe a Death Knight, even like High Lord Darius.
Oh yeah, that's a good. Oh, there could be titles for every class. I didn't think of that either. I would have thought PvP, but you're probably right. There's another one that's Illidari Master, like Perculia, which again would make sense. If they had class titles, you would have Illidari would be like your starting title, but then Illidari Master would be, your earned title.
Then there's the Honorable Panzer, which I think I don't know, that sounds like it's PvP.
That's a cool title, though. Yeah. Like, I'm not a PvPer, but that's a cool title.
That would also be cool, like, if there's any sort of, like, player reputation in the game, like, you are a good person to, like, pug or, raid with.
You aren't a jerk in
you are
LFR.
Honorable. Exactly. You are a happy person.
Panzer the non-jerk. Then there's also, like, Perculia the Prestigious, which that's definitely PvP.
It sounds like
That's
and then there's Trade Chat the Unrelenting. Maybe this sounds like a challenge mode or like a raid thing.
Oh, yeah. I bet I would... Challenge mode sounds about right, because you keep doing them over and over again. They get harder and harder. Then there's Legionary Perculia, which that, to me, sounds like it's going to be either the dungeon achievements or the raid achievements.
Yeah, and then there's Panzer Bound by Honor, which sounds like the honor system to me.
Yeah.
So watch us get more information, have all these be inaccurate. As usual, if you're watching this video and it's later than the day that we filmed it, you can see it on Wowhead. But yeah, those were our predictions.
All information coming out of our mouths is tentative and subject to change.
Yeah.
Disclaimer.
Yeah.
So
I think this is my favorite part.
All right. Your turn.
Okay, so this morning we data mined all of the known audio files in Legion so far, and Demon Hunters have all brand new audio, like flirt and silly emotes, so they redid them all like, other classes, other races, they just sort of share the same thing, but not Demon Hunters. And there's Blood Elf Female, Blood Elf Male, Night Elf Female, and Night Elf Male, and they have really funny ones, and you can listen to all of them on Wowhead, and I think you're gonna make a video of these cool ones really soon, but we could just read some of the funny new emotes.
Oh, we're gonna do, alright, hold on. Let me get my voice acting pants on. Are we starting with Blood Elf Females?
Yeah, we are.
Alright, I will start.
Okay.
I'd love to show you my twisting nether.
Baby, I am prepared.
I only wear black and very, very dark gray.
Of course these are real. You mean the tattoos, right?
Oh my god. You should have. Then there are the Blood Elf males. A Dreadlord, an Infernal, and a Doomguard walked into a bar. So I killed them all. These are amazing. This is so good.
I actually got these tattoos before I went to prison.
Oh my god. I've only got eyes for you, baby.
If you look like me, you wouldn't wear a shirt either.
Oh my god. Then there are the Night Elf females. Spectral sight's not all it's cracked up to be. Did you know that dwarves wear absolutely no undergarments?
No, Mom, this is not just a phase.
Demon souls taste delicious, although some do have an odd cinnamon aftertaste.
You know, they do say love is blind.
Stop. There's a dad who works at Blizzard somewhere. There's a dad who, alright, the Night Elf male ones. This tattoo here, that's the power of darkness. Over here, well, you've got demonic surge. And this one here, it says mom.
10 years in stasis will give you such a crick in the neck. Ugh.
Shaving without a mirror is the only trick. Oh man, shaving without a mirror is the only trick. Reading's hard. Shaving without a mirror is the only tricky part about this gig. God.
You are not free. Oh, sorry. I thought you were someone else.
Stop. Oh my god. That's great. Those are all great. There's
even more, and we've transcribed them, and we will have a video really soon.
I'll make a video.
These are amazing.
Yeah, they're great. I'll make a video of them. I'll do it. That's Perk telling me to do my job in front of people so that I can't not do it. Amazing. There's also, moving on from Legion stuff, obviously there's spell data that just went up. We're not going to talk about that right now because Perk hasn't even dealt with it yet. But we did want to talk a little bit about some Blizzard merchandise, our favorite thing ever. Cute but deadly figures are now available in the Blizzard store. I have them all sitting right here. Yep. That's Venusaur. I have them all sitting right here. Yep. They're in blind boxes, so you don't know what you're going to get. There are 9 different figures total, and they cost $10 each. And I'm going to show them to you. And then Perk also has the older version, so we can show you a comparison. Yeah. So I'll show you them, and then I'll flip it over to Perk to show you the comparison. So there is Zeratul. You have a 6 in 36 chance of getting Zeratul, and he's very cute. He's got a little blade. He's got little strappies on his legs. These are really detailed for being so small. There is a Sylvanas. She also is a 6 in 36 chance. She's got a little bow. She's got a little cape. And I was actually really impressed with how she stands because her peg is on her cape. So she's got like tripod stability. There is Kerrigan, 6 in 36 chance. Her wings are posable. You can move them, which is really cool. And she is probably, of all of them, she probably is the one that wants to tip over the most, but she doesn't tip over as bad as the old one does. This is Diablo, obviously. 6 in 36 chance of getting him, and you can pose him on his little tail. And he is very cute.
His tail moves too, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, well, it makes him move completely. Yeah. Then we have Arthas. There's a 6 in 36 chance of getting Arthas. And he's a pretty neat guy. He stands really well. He's probably the one that stands the best. Then you have a 2 in 36 chance of getting this Murloc, this blue one. So cute. I love the way they made him splash in the water too.
I know, that's my favorite part of them, the splashes.
There's also a 2 in 36 chance of getting the green Murloc, although I must be lucky because I got 2 I got like a whole case of them and I got 2 of the green ones.
Yeah, same with me.
Then this is the zombie Murloc, or the mystery Murloc, whatever you want to call him. And he is awesome. He's like splashing in blood. There's a 1 in 36 chance of getting him in your blind box. And the final one in the collection is I'm calling him Frost Spec Arthas, but he's also like Ghost Arthas or Ice Arthas, and I don't think he glows in the dark. I want to say he glows in the dark, but I don't think he does.
Yeah. We'll learn tonight.
He's kind of like a clear variant with a gem, and he looks exactly like the other Arthas, only much more menacing because he's dead or undead. And then, as you guys know, back at BlizzCon, and do you have both of the San Diego Comic-Con ones?
No, I don't have those.
Okay, I have them, but they're in boxes, so it doesn't matter. But the older versions actually look and their size different than the newer versions, so Perk has a comparison for you.
Yeah. So these are the two. There we go.
There you go.
Yeah. So this one is from BlizzCon 2013. Mm-hmm. And, it's lighter, it's more orangey. The horns and stuff are brown. And the other one from the series right now is red with the black details on them. So we will have pictures in the post as well of these. My Kerrigan right now, one of them is in some surgery, but her colors are more vibrant and
Here, wait, put her up. I've got mine.
Yeah, awesome, cool.
So this is the current Kerrigan that you can get out of the blind box. Do you have your old Kerrigan?
I do.
One sec.
Yep. So, this is her. So, like, she's sort of paler. Like, this is orange. Not brown like the other.
The new one actually stands better than the old one does. And I don't know if they changed maybe her feet a little bit or her positioning, but the old one, like, barely stands.
No, she already fell off.
Yeah, she barely stands. She's very, very top heavy. I don't know if they used a lighter material, but the new one actually, as you can see, she stands on her own fine. I mean, she would be pretty easy to tip over, but the old one, I left them in the box because the Kerrigan did not stand on her own.
Yeah. So finally, we have the Arthas ones. Obviously, Frostspec Arthas looks pretty different, but you can compare these two. The lighter one is from BlizzCon 2013. The darker one is currently now. Like, his helmet's a bit different. The cape's a bit darker in color. There's more of, like, a navy blue focus. So, yeah.
But I went and got the Sylvanas and the Illidan.
Okay,
I guess there's not an Illidan in this series. So this is from San Diego Comic-Con. I didn't realize that there wasn't an Illidan in this series until I said it out loud. But this is the Illidan, cute but deadly, from San Diego Comic-Con. And he's terrifying. I doubt he stands. He does not look like he would possibly...
Oh, yeah, I didn't bring mine over, but
possibly
I've got some other merch in the background that's from...
Yeah. So I thought I was comparing him to one that existed, but apparently... Yeah, no, he does not want to stand. And then this is the Sylvanas for comparison. This was the San Diego Comic-Con... like 2013 maybe exclusive.
Yeah, I think this year it was the blind Zeratul.
It was Illidan.
Oh, okay. No, I mean maybe that was 2014. But there was a Zeratul.
Man, I'm missing one. Why do you have to tell me these things? God, I didn't want to know that. So, just to show you I was gonna put her on the stand, but she's not cooperating. So this is the San Diego Comic-Con variant, and this is the current variant in the blind box. They're like completely different colors. The San Diego Comic-Con is more of a pink, and there's a lot more black and dark focus. They both have the little bow. I still think all the newer ones stand better. I think that they
I would
made
agree.
them lighter. Like,
Yeah.
they feel lighter.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was also going to say, I was going to show up some of the other Cute But Deadly merchandise because it's part of a longer series. So they have, there are these mugs, and maybe you can see it kind of well, but they've got designs of some of these heroes. There's 4 variations. This one is green, but there's also purple, orange, and blue, which you can see in the background. Pepe is on top of a few of them. There was the new apparel. There is a tank top, leggings, and some shirts.
Yeah, the leggings were super cute.
There is the Cute But Deadly lanyard. So this was sold at BlizzCon 2015, and mine's filled with tons of pins, but you can see that one side of the lanyard has like very traditional art, and then the other side has the comic art. And there are comes with 4 specific pins, such as this Illidan one. And there are also keychains and this very cute Murloc solar buddy that apparently bobs in the sun and looks kind of cute and creepy at the same time.
Yeah, I like that they're expanding the Cute But Deadly merchandise because it's really cute. I'm also very disappointed for you to tell me that I missed one of these Cute But Deadly figures at San Diego Comic-Con. I really thought I was more on my game than that.
I will say maybe it was from a different thing, but whenever I think exclusive, I just think SDCC, you know? But we will research it after. So.
Oh, great. An eBay purchase I didn't want to make. But yeah, so these Cute But Deadly figures are available now. You can get them at the Blizzard store, which is gear.blizzard.com. And I think they're selling them at Hot Topic too. And if you got a loot crate this month, you might be pleasantly surprised. That's all.
And they were also at the Wowhead Party claw machine.
Yeah,
so
they were.
Like, oh,
and that was very exciting because
that was very cool. That was
the first
time.
place you could ever get them was the Wowhead Party.
Yeah.
Like Blizzard really, that was a very cool thing for Blizzard to do. That was. I wish we had footage of that on the stream. Our stream was wonderful for how bad it could have been.
Yeah. Next year it will be more awesomer.
Yeah, awesomer. That's right. So that's all the merch stuff we have going on. Next week we'll probably have a lot more merch stuff to talk about because Black Friday.
Yep.
Black Friday, Cyber Monday, stuff like that. So, do we have anything else we need to talk about, or is now a good time for people to ask questions? We'll take 3 questions. Ask them now. Anyways, which one is your favorite Cute But Deadly figure?
So I think mine has to be, Sylvanas, I think. Even though her bow is very precarious,
You don't like her bow?
No, I love her bow, but, like, I was tired with all this data mining, and I just couldn't get her bow to attach correctly, so it was making me very anxious.
It just snaps on.
I know, but it was very difficult for me.
Aww.
But now that it's on, like, it's just, I don't know, the craftsmanship is really cool, and
they're so detailed for being so tiny. I can't say Sylvanas is my favorite because I like the variant from Comic-Con better.
I see.
But I really love the zombie Murloc. I love that he's splashing in blood. It's so disgusting. I love it. So,
I did not realize the red. I was just like, oh, he's got red elsewhere. This must be color coordinated. And I'm like, oh, wow.
No, the other ones are blue. No, he's gross.
Yeah.
He's splashing in blood. It's delightfully evil. So I think he's my favorite. I really like the Kerrigan, too. But, yeah, I'm glad I have them. I really like them a lot.
And again, thank you, Blizzard, for giving all these to us. They even gave us like a little display case for them.
Yeah,
it's super cute.
Can you
and
see it in my shot? You can.
Yeah.
It's actually got the Hearthstone book in it, but it's visible in my shot. I took it all apart. But that was a really exciting gift to get in the mail.
Yeah, it was really, brightened my day, especially with all of this patch and Legion stuff going on.
Like
it was just I felt very special and very thankful and happy to be doing all this stuff.
Yeah, well, and I love know I clearly have like a problem with small cute toys. So, so I'm always excited to get more. Let me check out some of the questions that we got. When do you expect the beta to be out? This is speculation, guys. Nothing that we say is knowledge, it is guesses.
I mean, I would have thought that it would have been... I thought that for sure we would have gotten a post yesterday announcing that the beta is soon, and beta would have been playable either last night or soon today. But now I'm confused because this is going to overlap with the Overwatch stress test if it starts today. So I really have no idea.
Today. I think the beta
There seem to be so many problems. Like, I mean, just seeing
I originally was thinking it would be out this Tuesday, but then I kind of don't think they would do that because I feel like there's going to be a lot of people out for the Thanksgiving holiday.
Didn't they, like, not have the Hearthstone patch this upcoming Tuesday because Thanksgiving? Like, that'd be really like, so hey, Hearthstone, you evolve, but Legion does not.
I think the patch I think the beta will be the Tuesday after Thanksgiving. That is my guess. Because I definitely think it'll be on a Tuesday. I don't know why I'm so obsessed with the idea of Downtime Tuesday, but it's happening on a Tuesday.
I also think that, like, 6.2.3 is now live, and they want people to be doing time walking and stuff in games, so between that stuff and the Moose, and then Overwatch stress test and Legion beta, it just feels like things would be stomping on each other's thunder. Oh yeah, Legacy of the Void is like...
That's a thing, Perk!
Yeah, that is a thing! And now, Overwatch and all these other things are just like, me instead! It's like fighting children. Like siblings. So sibling rivalry.
So I think it's gonna be the Tuesday after Thanksgiving, but I wouldn't be mad if it was playable tonight. That's for sure. Actually, I would. I have way too much work to do for the beta to come out this week.
Yeah.
All right. So what else do we have? What is the first quest that you'll be taking through the Artifact Weapon quest line?
The first class or quest? Oh, the first class. So probably either my rogue. I don't think she'll be an outlaw rogue. She's currently combat, so maybe she'll be assassination if the fantasy goes that way. Or I might be playing a demon hunter, the DPS spec.
Oh, I feel like it is so much for you to change mains. Like you've mained a rogue since vanilla, right?
Yeah.
So like
Still, yeah.
They added a class that's making you considered. Like that's nuts to me.
Yeah.
That
is big.
You look so excited. Yeah. I have no idea who I'm gonna play next expansion. I will probably play my shaman. I play Resto Shaman currently, but it's hard because I just want to, like, be what my guild needs. Like, I play a healer, so if, like, my guild needs a druid, like, I can play a druid. If my guild needs a priest, I can play a priest. The problem is right now my guild has about 47 shamans. So, like, as much as I want to play a shaman, like, I won't play a shaman if we have other people that are going to be shamans, like Resto Shamans, because I don't want to feel like there's overlap. But the tentative plan is shaman. What else we got? I don't think that's true. I don't think the Friends and Family beta started before before Gamescom.
I don't even know if there was one. Like, so I'm pretty sure what's happening now is beta, and like looking at Warlords, they made a blue post saying that the alpha was starting, and then we got data, but we couldn't actually play it for 2 months, and then there was this very short alpha period of it being playable, and then it went to beta. So I feel that, like, if alpha was a thing that people were playing at home, that means that the data files would be out somewhere and we would have gotten that information sooner. So, like, I'm sure there was some sort of internal testing, obviously for, Blizzard's QA people and, people making the game, but I don't think there was some, secretive Friends and Family alpha just because people would have picked up on it.
I would have known about it. Like, there's no way. There are too many people who are Blizzard influencers who are also friends of people at Blizzard for that to work. Like, there's just no way. Yeah. Obviously there's going to be internal testing, but that's not really like Friends and Family. And then someone asked me what was up with the headphones. We both always wear headphones. Like, I don't know if Perks is just kind of camouflage. And my cat ate the cord on my, like, earbuds. So I'm wearing the headphones HyperX sent me. So, yeah, that's everything. So thank you so much for all of your questions. Thank you so much to everybody who tuned into our stream. I think there were close to 400 people at one point, which is crazy. Where did you all come from? So thank you, everybody who watches us on Twitch, who follows us, who takes the time out to subscribe to us. It really helps the channel out, and you can also use some really cute emotes. The more subscribers we get, the more emotes we will eventually get. Thank you to everybody who checks into Wowhead, doesn't use AdBlock, or subscribes to Wowhead Premium, which will remove all the ads from the site and also give you customizable features like quest tracking today in Draenor. You'll get to use a special color, all sorts of perks like that. And if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you for following us on YouTube, subscribing, liking, commenting, all of the above. We do Wowhead Weekly every Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, which is 3 p.m. Pacific Time. We try to interact with the chat. You can ask us questions, and you can watch all the things that get edited out of the final show. So thank you so much to everybody who watched. We will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. We are going to go. Bye, everyone. Have a great weekend.